これだけ探しても見つからないなんてね。
Lotus looked around at 6 frustrated faces and spoke.
このままニルスを探し続けても仕方がないわ。先に進みましょう。
Junpei couldn't disagree with what she was saying. Snakes seemed to have completely disappeared. There was no point to wasting any more time. The others seemed to be having similar thoughts, but they stayed silent. Finally, Seven spoke.
やむをえんな。ヤシロの言った通りだ。ここにいる7人で先に進むしかねえだろう。だが問題が一つある。誰と誰が組んでどの扉に入るかだ。
そうね。そこで一つ提案があるんだけど。
She walked back and forth across the floor, her heels clicking against the wood. Finally, she stopped.
一人犠牲になってもらう人間を決めない？
Okay, so you just went into a territory that should never be treaded on.
犠牲？
そう、犠牲。みんなもう気づいてるんでしょ？全員でこの先に進むことはできないって。4人と3人のチームに分かれたら3人が脱落することになるし、5人と2人なら2人が取り残されることになるわ。でも3人と3人と1人だったら犠牲は1人で済むのよ。
Leaving behind 3 people with 2 teams of 4 and 3. She is right. And it sucks. It wasn't pleasant, but she was right. There wasn't any way that the numbers would work out. If one group was 4, the other group would always have a digital route that didn't match a door. When Seven spoke, his voice was strained.
その犠牲となる一人を決めようっていうのか。
ええ、そう。この状況においてはそれが最も道義的かつ理性的な選択だと思うの。他の6人が生き延びるためには1人に身を捧げてもらうしかないのよ。
そんなひどすぎます。
何がひどいっていうのよ。
1人を犠牲にするなんてそんなこと。
だったら何？犠牲者は1人よりも2人、2人よりも3人の方がいいっていうわけ？
そんなことは言ってません。1人よりも0人の方がいいに決まってるじゃないですか。
だからそれは無理だって言ってるじゃないのよ。夢みたいなことばっかり言ってないで現実を見なさい。
まあまあまあ、2人とも落ち着けよ。
Santa stepped between Lotus and June.
とにかくヤシロが言わんとしていることは、最大多数の最大幸福を追求すべきだって、そういうことだよな。
その通り。民主主義の原理原則よ。
Well, democracy is fucked, so I don't agree with you, but again, I can't disagree with your logic.
だからそれにのっとって犠牲となる1名も投票で決めようと思うんだけど、どうかしら？
私は反対です。
あんたには聞いてないわ。黙ってて。サンタはどう？
俺か？俺はまあ賛成かな。
はい、1票ね。私を加えて2票。セブンは？
もろ手を挙げて賛成ってわけにはいかねえが、まあ仕方ねえだろうな。このままじゃ全員が織田仏になっちまうわけだ。
よくわかってるじゃない。これで3票ね。 あと1票獲得すればこの法案は成立よ。四つ葉はどうかしら？
Clover had moved away from the group and was sitting on one of the beds. Her whole body drooped. Junpei didn't know if she'd even heard Lotus's proposal.
ねえ、四つ葉。
Lotus walked over to Clover and gently laid a hand on her shoulder.
あなたのお兄さん、ニルスは多分ナンバリングドアの向こう側にいるはずよ。これだけ探しても見つからなかったんだもの。そう思わない？
Clover slowly lifted her face.
一緒に探しに行きましょう。たった一人を犠牲にするだけでそれが可能になるのだからね、賛成してもらえるわよね。
Clover nodded once.
これで決まりね。
Lotus spun around and walked toward Junpei.
さてと、それじゃあ早速だけど投票を。
そんなものは必要ないよ。
Ace had barely spoken for Lotus's entire speech, and everyone jumped a little. 6 pairs of eyes turned to look at him. He didn't seem to notice or even care.
私がここに残る。それでいいだろう。
一宮さん、何を言ってるんですか？そんなのダメです。ダメに決まってるでしょ。
June's voice shook, and she looked around desperately for someone to agree with her. Ace simply looked at her.
紫君、君は何か勘違いしているようだね。私はここに残るとは言ったが、犠牲になるとは一言も言ってないんだよ。私は君たちを信じてるんだ。必ず戻ってきてくれるとね。
おいおいおいおい、何を寝ぼけたこと言ってるんだよお前は。
Yeah, again, with 7 on this one.
ナンバリングドアは一方通行。入ることはできても出ることはできない。だから俺たち6人がこの先に進んじまったら
戻ってくることなんてできないか？
そうだ。
だがこの船から脱出したら話は別だろう。
なんだと？
私からのお願いだ。頼む。ぜひとも救助を連れて戻ってきてほしい。ゼロの言っていたタイムリミットが訪れるまでに。
I just had this discussion with Lotus earlier. There's only 5 hours. There is no way to come back. Because even if I get to the exit, we don't know if there's a possible way to bring you to the exit without going through a numbered door. So that is a fail, sir.
無茶だ。無理に決まってる。
Finally, Junpei could hold his tongue no longer.
タイムリミットまで5時間を切ってるんだぞ。ここが洋上のどこに位置するかもわからないっていうのに、どうやって救助を連れて戻ってくるって言うんだ。
だったら君が私の代わりになってくれるとでも言うのかね。それとも紫君を置き去りにするか。
Ace's voice was dignified and without a hint of cruelty or malice. Junpei had no rebuttal.
さあ、これでもう分かっただろ。結論はすでに出ている。こうするより他に仕方がないんだ。行きたまえ。私のことは構わずに。さあ、早く。
Junpei stood frozen by indecision, unable to move. June bit her lips so hard that Junpei feared she would break the skin. Santa stood against the wall, calm and aloof. Seven tore his beanie from his head and turned it over anxiously in his hands. Nah, it's still in his head. Look at this picture. Only Clover stared at Ace with an expression Junpei was unable to decipher. Lotus's attitude, however, was different from the others.
そうね。それじゃあお言葉に甘えさせてもらおうかしら。
Good lord. Like, I mean, I get that she was smart enough, like, she had to come up with a plan because none of us would have done it and then someone would have gotten left behind anyway. But she doesn't have to act like, oh, okay, I'm so glad you're staying to die for us. Really? She smiled, her eyes bright. Ace answered with a smile of his own.
ああ、そうしてもらえると助かるよ。私はここで一休みさせてもらおう。年のせいか、最近疲れやすくてね。
Oh, stop yawning. As he spoke, Ace lowered himself down to the floor next to one of the beds. From somewhere deep in the ship, Junpei suddenly heard the screeching of metal on metal. It was almost as if the ship were screaming. Would it really hold under their time limit until their time limit was up? Already, D-Deck was flooded. In the sudden silence, the only sound was the sad metal wail of the ship. Unsurprisingly, it was Lotus who spoke first.
ねえ、ちょっとみんな何してるのよ。時間がもったいないわ。早く行きましょう。
As if a spell had been broken, the others all began to talk at once.
ああ、そうだな。行こう。今そうするしかあるまい。
セブンさん。
俺も賛成だぜ。正直長話にうんざりしてたところだ。
サンタさんまで。私もお兄ちゃんを探しに行かないと。ちょっと待ってください。みんな落ち着いて考えましょう。全員で脱出できる方法が必ずあるはずです。ねえ、そうでしょ、純平君。なんとか言ってくださいよ。
ああ、そうだな。考えよう。何か方法を。
His words sounded hollow and fake.
だったらいいです。私が何とかします。
She spun around and ran toward Ace. I'll figure it out on my own. Ace, help me figure it out, motherfucker. He had slumped down next to the bed when Jin grabbed his arm and pulled.
一宮さん。ほら、立ってください。諦めるのはまだ早いですよ。みんなで一緒に考えましょう。全員で助かる方法を。
Then it happened. Well. Ace fell forward. Are you dead? Are you dead? No. I refuse. He slumped over onto the wooden floor, his body folded in half like a boxer out cold.
一宮さん。
June cried out and dropped to her knees beside him. She put her arm around his neck and did her best to lift him up.
ねえ、どうしたんですか。一宮さん、しっかりしてください。
She shook him frantically. His eyes fluttered open. Oh, he's not dead.
大丈夫だ。
Though he sounds drunk as fuck. His voice was weak and slightly slurred. Yeah, there you go.
大丈夫って。でも。
これだよ。
He held out his left arm and slowly opened his hand.
注射器。
Soporil B? Beta? Sopro beta? And it was a syringe and a small vial. The vial was empty. It had only recently been emptied. A few drops clung to the sides. There was a label taped to the side of the container. It read Sopro beta. Yep. Boom, baby! Sopro beta?
マントレインベータ。何ですかこれは。これを打ったんですか。
ああ、ただの麻酔薬だよ。心配には及ばん。
麻酔薬。
ここに来る前に見つけたんだ。個室の方の病室を探している時にいつか何かの役に立つのではないかと思い忍ばせておいたのだがまさか自分で使うことになるとはな。
どうしてそんなことを。
言っただろう、一休みさせてもらうって。もう疲れたんだよ私は。
Junpei knew that wasn't why he'd done it. Ace had injected himself with anesthetic to forestall Junpei and Jun's attempts to bring him along. If he couldn't move, there was nothing they could do. He'd injected himself so that they would be forced to leave him behind.
一宮さん。
おや、まだ用があるのかね。眠りたいんだ。少し静かにしてもらえないかな。
ダメです。ダメですよ、一宮さん。眠っちゃダメです。
Why does this sound like it's freaking like into Titanic or some BS? Like, don't let go, Jack. Whatever you do, don't let go.
ああ、君の胸は温かいな。とても心地がいい。なんだかいい夢が見られそうだ。
Ace's eyelids drooped further and further. Almost as though he were dying. Oh, is he dying? Shit.
一宮さん、一宮さん。
She shook his shoulder again and again. But this time he didn't respond. Ah, he's just asleep. Only the gentle rising and falling of his chest told him that he was alive. Junpei was relieved to see that he was, in fact, still breathing.
ベッドの上に寝かせよう。
He lifted Ace up off the floor and laid him on the bed he'd been leaning against. When Junpei turned around, Lotus gave him a look of pity.
さあ、これで選択の余地はなくなったわね。
That doesn't sound like pity to me.
彼の思いを無駄にしないためにも、私たちは前に進まなくちゃ。そうでしょ？
心にもないこと。
何か言ったかしら？
いや、なんでもない。
It felt wrong, but he had to agree. Then suddenly Santa spoke.
選択の余地はまだ完全になくなったわけじゃないぜ。
え？どういうこと？
You come up with this brilliant shit and then you're like, oh, what do you mean? We just go through a door. What fucking door, you idiot?
俺たち6人がどの扉に入るのかはまだ決まったわけじゃないだろう。
ああ、なるほど。確かにそうね。
無駄話はもうこりごりだ。さっさと決めちまおう。まずはヤシロ。あんたは何番の扉に入りたい？
私は、そうね。8番かしら。私のバングルナンバーと同じだし。
わかった。8番だな。それじゃ次は7だ。あんたは何番の扉に？
俺は7を選ぶよ。そこのババアとは気が合いそうもないんでな。
ああ、 あんた今なんて言った？
Her face distorted by rage, Lotus took a step towards Seven. He threw up his hands and made a face like a child caught with his hand in the cookie jar.
何も言ってないよ。
覚えてなさい。
She shot him a glare that would have melted steel, then turned and stalked off.
さてと、次は誰から聞こうか。
Santa's gaze moved across the three people left. Finally, they stopped on Junpei.
順平、お前はどの扉に？
At last. Junpei's mind was already made up. I can't remember. I know what happens if I pick this one, but I don't remember what happens if I pick these ones right now. It's kind of like all jumbled together, so I'm gonna go with this one.
俺は8の扉に入ろうと思う。
そうか、8だな。
ああ。
すると必然的に紫は7ってことになるわけだが。
どうしてですか？
なんでだよ。
Santa grimaced and muttered angrily to himself, but finally began to explain.
俺たち6人が揃ってこの先へと進むにはな、次の3通りのパターンで分かれる以外に方法はねえんだよ。
Plan A.
358で7に入り、467で8に入るか。457で7に入り、368で8に入るか。もしくは367で7に入り、458で8に入るか。これ以外の選択肢はない。要するに3と4、5と6、7と8は絶対に同じ扉には入れねえってことだ。分かったな。
As Santa finished, June looked over at Junpei, tears welling up at the corners of her eyes. I was reading that right, and I stuttered.
それじゃあ私はこの先ずっと純平君と離れ離れに。
Okay, hang on a minute. I need to go back. Santa, Junpei, and Lotus go through 7, but Lotus wants 8, and then Clover, June, and 7 go through 8. 4, 5, and 7, so Clover, Junpei, 7. 3, 6, 8. Santa, June. I don't really see how he's saying just, in other words, 3 and 4 and 7 and 8 can never go through the same doors. Well, apparently neither can 5 and 6. Junpei felt just as June did. He wanted to be at her side through whatever trials they were prepared to face. But he knew if they were to survive, he had to swallow his feelings. And in order for the 6 of them to move forward, he and June had to be separated. He looked at June. He was scared to lose her, but he swallowed, steeling his resolve, and did his best to smile at her.
おいおい、
No, to smile.
そんな
Whatever.
根性の別れみたいな言い方するなよ。離れ離れになるって言ったって一時的なものだ。最初の4と5の扉の時だってそうだっただろ。 チームは2つに分かれたが、結局はこの部屋で合流することになった。きっと同じだよ。7と8の扉も。
どこか先の方でつながってると。
ああ、
おそらく。
She didn't sound very hopeful. It was Seven that interjected.
俺は間違いなく繋がってると思うぜ。
どうしてそう思うんですか？
もしも繋がってなかったとしたら、どっちのチームも9の扉には入れなくなっちまうからだ。
Everyone seems to forget we're playing the Nonary game.
つまり、この段階でゲームオーバーってことになる。ここまで用意周到にことを運んできたゼロが、こんなところで全てを終わりにするとは思えねえ。奴は最後の最後まで、このゲームを楽しむつもりでいるはずだ。誰かが9の扉にたどり着くまでな。
June said nothing. The tears were gone, but her eyes were still sad as they looked at Junpei. He met them, and with what reassurance he could manage, laid his hand gently on her shoulder.
大丈夫だ。もう一度必ず会えるさ。絶対に。
June bit her lip and gave him an almost imperceptible nod.
約束ですよ。
Her voice was barely above a whisper. Santa's voice shattered the moment.
やっと終わったみたいだな。
Really, Santa? He stretched and continued.
とにかくこれで問題はほぼ片付いたことになる。残った俺と四つ葉は自動的にどっちかへと割り振られることになるからな。なんだ、俺が7で四つ葉が8に入りゃいいのか。四つ葉、何か異論は？
Clover looked away and was silent for a moment.
別に。
It was more of a dismissal than an agreement, but Santa didn't seem to care.
よし、それじゃあこれで決まりだ。行こう。
At Santa's command, the group split and headed for their respective doors. Santa, Seven, and June walked toward door 7, while Clover, Lotus, and Junpei headed for door 8.